We talking Tesla, not Nikolai, the company. So, when you think Tesla, or when I think Tesla, think fancy, new, crazy tech. Tesla I associate with like flying cars, almost. But did you know that the electric car is actually older than the gas car? So, let's talk the history of cars. We have gas cars. They show up on the scene in the early 1900s. But if we look, electric cars actually showed up a little bit earlier in the 1800s. And if we open the door and look inside, who's driving that car? The elites. Rich people. Our story with the electric car starts in Scotland. I'm not going to do the accent because, no. There's an inventor. His name was William Morrison. And he came up with the idea of a buggy without horses. Think like literal horse-drawn carriage, except for you take the horses off. It's electric. It pulled itself, and it could go 20 miles an hour, which seems really slow now, but was pretty fast back then, competing with literal horses. It blew people's minds. Just, again, take yourself back. Imagine you're in the year 1893. You're at the World Fair, which, who goes to the fair anymore? But you're at the fair for some reason. There's food. There's animals like zoos and stuff. And then you see a buggy without a horse driving itself. We're going to fast forward, not very far, just to the early 1900s. There's the first fleet of electric taxis in New York. They had 600 of them. People liked them because compared to other cars at the time, like steam-powered cars or gas cars, they were clean and they were quiet. Other big cities followed New York because they did well. Philadelphia and Baltimore, just as examples. But these did not last very long. By 1907, these companies went under, and at that point, the electric car had already been upstaged by the gas car. The gas car at the time was seen as pretty cool because while electric cars were just powered by electricity, gas cars were powered by explosions under the hood, and that's just kind of cool. I would personally say that explosions are cooler than electricity. Don't at me. So, gas cars, pretty cool, but they did still have some disadvantages as compared to electric cars. Electric cars were still quieter, they were still cleaner, and electric cars didn't have to be started with hand cranks. At the time, gas cars needed hand cranks. You had to literally go to the front and crank them up like a wind-up toy to start them. Except for imagine a wind-up toy that took like actual strength to crank and could break your fingers if you messed up, or your arm. Not cool. So, understandably, a lot of people had problems with it, and especially women, because they were kind of hard to wind up, and in general, they don't want to break their fingers. So, I say women preferred electric cars. That's not really fair. Rich women preferred them because they were very expensive. It got to the point where shopping malls started to put in charging stations for electric cars just to attract wealthy women to shop there. Which brings us to the heart of the matter. Money. Because with all the things that we've mentioned, it sounds like electric cars should have won over gas cars. But really, gas cars were able to beat out electric cars for two main reasons. Number one, they also got electric starters, so no more worrying about hand cranks and breaking your hand. And number two, assembly lines. Henry Ford creates the Model T in 1908. It costs $850, which is really cheap in today's money, but inflation, it wasn't actually that cheap. At the time, electric cars cost $1,700, so that's a big improvement. And by 1923, Ford had managed to get the car down all the way to $300. During the same time period, electric cars climbed up to $3,000. So you're paying literally 10x to get an electric car over a gas car. Henry Ford had a vision. A car in every household. On the other side, electric cars were more seen as a toy or novelty. So they died out. And that's how the story ends. Let's fast forward 90 years. 2003, we got a new boy on the block, Tesla. Tesla had a different perspective of the electric car, which was that they could be fun and cool, which sounds very similar to the old electric car, but it was different. They want to prove that electric cars can be better, faster, and more fun to drive than gas-powered cars. One of Tesla's goals was to eliminate fossil fuels. So, how did they expect to do that? They decided to pick out a strategy that was a little bit different. Ford was able to defeat the electric car in the past by being cheaper, Tesla is intentionally becoming more expensive. They wanted to start their prices high and then drive them down as fast as possible to become more affordable. The first generation of Teslas started out about $95,000. Then, by the second generation, they were able to drive it down to $47,000. And by the third generation, they drove it all the way down to $24,000. They about halved it every time. At least they're hoping the third generation will be at $24,000. They haven't gotten there yet. So, Tesla decided to start by targeting the top of the market and then drive their prices down as fast as possible until they can get to the point where they just replace gas-powered cars altogether. So, how are they doing? In 2021, Tesla sold 900,000 cars, which is pretty good, but it only puts them at 2% market share. Currently, their current model of Tesla sells for $45,000, so it's still a little pricey. Let's return to the age-old battle. Ford versus electric cars. How are they doing now? Well, Ford is actually making electric cars, so not really an age-old battle. But let's compare Ford to Tesla. Well, Ford is not the biggest car maker, but they sold over 2 million cars in 2021. That puts them at about 12.6% market share, which is 6 times Tesla. Tesla's done a pretty decent job of achieving some of their goals. They've made cars that are fast, that are fun to drive, and that are seen as pretty cool. But as of right now, they can't directly compete with the other major American car makers or with other international car brands. How does it look for their ultimate goal in the future of eliminating fossil fuels? Right now, not looking too hot. It's going to take a lot more money and a lot more market share to be able to eliminate gas-powered cars. Ford was able to dominate the early car market through innovative manufacturing and through lower prices. Tesla's looking to take a little bit of a different strategy by selling cars that are cool and fast. Time will see. Tesla has done a pretty good job of influencing the market so far because it looks like every day another car manufacturer is making an electric vehicle. Ford is even making electric Ford F-150s. If we look around one day and see all electric vehicles, you can either thank or blame Tesla, depending on how you feel about that. But as of right now, it's looking like the gas car is not going to die anytime soon. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, go ahead and like it and subscribe. We also do content on other social media platforms. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok to be specific. You can check us out on our website at bigred.media. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.